Good morning, everyone. I'm Janet Steinmeier. I'm Leslie's president, and I'm excited to welcome you back to campus and to Leslie's 112th year. Welcome to our incoming students, our first-year students, undergraduate, graduate, and threshold. Welcome to our classes starting last year, who are first coming to campus this fall. Welcome to our new faculty and staff, and to those who started last year and are first coming to campus. Welcome to all of our returning students, faculty, and staff. And a very special welcome to those of you who will graduate in 2022. Convocation is like a bookend to commencement, a pair of ceremonies that open and close the Leslie experience. So convocation is particularly of special meaning to those who will be graduating in 2022 in January and in May. Joining me today are some of the Leslie leaders that you'll get to know over your time as a student. You'll hear shortly from our provost, Jonathan Jefferson, our dean of students, Nathaniel Mays, our vice president of equity, diversity, inclusion, and justice, Sandra St. Fleur. And I'm particularly grateful that today we're joined by our student speaker, Bailey Haynes. Bailey, as many of you know, is a senior in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and she's our student government president. She's joining us today with great courage, despite some personal circumstances. I have to say the warmest welcome, Bailey. We really admire what you're doing. Before we start, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional occupants of the land that we now call Cambridge and the Leslie campus, and honor what this land means to Indigenous people's culture and traditions. We welcome any Aboriginal, Native American, and/or First Nation people in the Leslie community. In addition, some of you may have just celebrated Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and to you we wish Shana Tova. Finally, I'd like us to take a moment to remember the victims of September 11th, 20 years ago, but never forgotten. The military and civilian casualties of the war in Afghanistan, and those whose lives the COVID-19 pandemic and this summer's natural disasters have claimed. In planning our 2021 convocation, we took a more inclusive and flexible approach than in prior years, which really mirrors the way that we're approaching our return to campus with a mix of in-person, high flex, hybrid, and fully remote classes. While we're using this webinar format for the speaking portions of convocation, we'll be holding outdoor receptions and hoping that the weather is kind to us for our first and second year undergraduate threshold and graduate students. I look forward so much to seeing you at these receptions. As a health and safety precaution, we've limited attendance at these receptions, but I think there'll be many, many other opportunities where we have a chance to all meet in the weeks and months to come. I thank you all for achieving a very high rate of vaccination, for following our masking requirements, and for adhering to our testing protocols in the community compact. Some of these protocols may change, so please watch for our periodic updates. So today, I welcome you back to a university whose fields of study have never been more important. The pandemic has reinforced how interconnected we are, and the extreme weather events experienced around the world leave no doubt that we must think and act globally. And global collaboration to address these challenges will no doubt require forging stronger human connections across borders and cultures. Strengthening human connections is what a Leslie education is all about. It's why the work our professors and alumni do and the work you will do has never been more relevant. The human arts, Leslie's unique strength, help connect people to each other meaningfully and are essential to a healthy society. In challenging times, these disciplines are even more critical. When systems break down, we look to the power of human connections to repair them. And Lesley graduates are the first responders to this, our most human needs. Whether you chose to join our community because you aspire to become a teacher, a counselor, a therapist, a social worker, an artist, a writer, a policymaker, a business leader, an entrepreneur, or if you haven't decided, Lesley will prepare you to be a catalyst for a more connected and just world. That desire to make a positive impact on people's lives is what draws all of us to Lesley. And we don't need to look far afield to find examples and role models in the Lesley community who are responding to the urgent challenges we face today, from COVID to climate change to systemic racism. Superstar author Jason Reynolds, who teaches in our MFA creative writing program, has inspired legions of young people to love reading and history and understand racism through his extraordinary ability to connect his experience with those of younger readers. If you visit the Prudential Center in Boston, you'll find beneath a soaring public art installation by LA&D alumna Cecily Carew, who is a graduate in 2020 of our MFA Visual Arts program. Her work aims to inspire feelings of joy and connectedness. Dr. Uma Chandrika-Milner, an assistant professor of psychology, connected with healthcare workers treating COVID patients in Nepal and India through a free mental health support program that she co-created. The work of Sydney Chaffee, a graduate of the class of '07, who was named Teacher of the Year in both Massachusetts and the United States in 2017, was captured on WBUR as she helped her 9th grade students at Codman Academy place the events of January 6th in an historic context of white supremacy. Lesley's students and faculty have been volunteering as citizen scientists at Mount Auburn Cemetery, documenting the impact of humans in urban ecosystems and teaching hundreds of visitors of all ages about preserving biodiversity in the natural habitat. And tomorrow, Dr. Lisa Fiore, the chair of our education department in class, will share her expertise with parents of younger children as part of a Boston Globe panel on what families need to know about the Delta variant as schools reopen. These are just a few examples of the many ways members of the Lesley community connect and share what they teach and learn to make a positive difference in people's lives. You are now part of and will be the next standard bearers, applying and sharing what you learn and experience at Lesley to improve your future communities, wherever you land. I know you're up to the challenge, and our campus and alumni community will be here to encourage and support you every step of the way. So as we traverse this year, when inevitably there are and will be challenges, in how we and others are affected by the pandemic and doing the work we must do to address racism in confronting climate change, recall that the root of the arts we practice at Lesley lie in this art of connecting ideas, connecting people, connecting to the world to make it a better place. And while we'd wish that the world was not quite as challenging as it is just now, let's use this as our opportunity to build the skills of connection, to be sure this complicated year is the best that it can be. So in this year, as we navigate the ups and downs of these challenges, I encourage you to be the authors of hope, the people who do the hard work to face these challenges with and for each other. This is Lesley. You are part of this community because it takes on these challenges. Let's help each other to see how we push forward with flexibility and empathy and grace. I look forward to seeing how you will meet these challenges and to all you will achieve and bring forward in your life's work. And now it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our Provost and Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Jonathan K. Jefferson.
Thank you, Janet, President Steinmeier, and good morning and welcome to everyone. I'd like to take a few minutes to talk with you about some exciting things that are going on at Lesley. As you know, this being the second day of class, you've begun to experience different ways in which we're doing classroom learning this year. We've introduced a new concept called HyFlex, in which students have a choice to attend class either face-to-face or virtually synchronous. We also have hybrid courses in which you meet in class for one session or 1 week, and you'll be virtual the next week. We have classes that are fully face-to-face and classes that are also asynchronous and low res. And so this is a new environment for us, but we are certainly happy and glad to welcome you back to campus and to have an opportunity to interact with you in the various ways throughout the classroom. I would also like to talk about some exciting things that are going on this year, some other exciting things that are going on this year at Lesley. One of those is that you are the first class to participate in our redesigned and reimagined general education. And so get ready to make an impact. For at Lesley, our goal is to prepare students to make a positive impact in our rapidly changing world. That's why we've just redesigned our undergraduate general education curriculum around 10 outcomes to help you solve 21st century problems. With exciting new courses and approaches, these outcomes provide the foundation you'll need to promote community, justice, and a more stable, sustainable future. You will acquire knowledge and skills that today's employers value and that will get you ready to succeed in an increasingly complex, diverse, and connected world. Your general education courses, that is, classes that form the backbone of your college education, will more deeply engage you in challenges affecting humankind. You'll take courses across different disciplines, connect your learning to the world around you, and graduate ready to work on the most pressing, complex issues of our time. You'll explore big questions and build connections outside of the traditional curricular boundaries. Interested in scandalous art, transnational perspectives on gender, sex, and race, power and privilege, disability justice. These are some of the diverse topics, themes, and perspectives you can dive into. The 10 outcomes fall into two categories: foundations and perspectives. For each outcome, you will choose courses based on your academic interests, as well as your professional and personal development goals. During your first year, you'll take foundation outcomes, and your courses will focus on 4 themes. You'll learn about the Lesley culture, as well as exploring critical problems and enduring questions. You'll do analysis, build critical skills for evaluating information from various sources, communication, produce effective written, spoken, and visual text and media, collaboration, work productively with others, manage conflict, and take on different roles within diverse groups. Quantitative reasoning, create and examine arguments using quantitative information from various sources. The perspective outcomes, you will fulfill each of these outcomes. You'll have course options that address outcomes that continue to build upon the foundation courses. So you look at things like ethical reasoning, social action, and civic engagement. Examine the ethical consequences of personal and professional decisions and take action to create change. Examining power and inequity. Critically examine systems for power and bias. Local and global connections. Analyze and form connections among self, community, language, and culture in a globalized world. Create, perform, and design. Create original work to express, inquire, or inspire. Human relationships to the natural and physical world. Examine the physical world and the complex relationships between humans and nature. Inquiry methods. Explore how knowledge is created in different traditional fields of study. And if that sounds like a mouthful, then you will actually take an applications course. To complete your general education, You'll take one interdisciplinary project-based course on a critical issue to help you reflect on the 10 outcomes and apply them to real-world problems. This is your unique path to your degree. Throughout this reimagined general education curriculum, you will creative and you can get creative and choose courses based on learning outcomes and your goals, and not simply check boxes in each subject area. This is a very, very enhanced and wonderful general education curriculum, and we look forward to working with you with it. But the fun doesn't stop there. Leslie has been fortunate enough to develop a new major in game design and immersive technologies. Are you a gamer, an artist, or perhaps music is your thing? The worlds of digital and immersive technologies, where viewers and players are at the center of attention, fascinate you. So if you want to turn your creativity, talent for technology, and love of video games into an exciting career, look no further than our BFA in game design and immersive technologies. Using computers and sophisticated software such as Maya, Nuke, ZBrush, Unreal Engine, and more, you'll create art and sounds for video games, film, and immersive experiences. See firsthand how digital painting and sculpting, 3D modeling and animation, and visual effects can help you create realistic looking characters and virtual environments that people will love. You'll begin with the foundation in drawing, visual culture, and 3D concepts. You'll then dive into the principles of programming in a visual environment where you'll design, implement, and debug the functionality of games and interactive programs. You'll bring your ideas to life in our computer lab outfitted with PC gaming and drawing tablets, and in our audio production space for sound design, recording, and mixing. Our virtual production and visual effects studio include LED wall technology, motion capture cameras, a green screen room, and a render farm, facilities that are unmatched at any other school in New England. A skilled gamer must also understand topics such as biology, anatomy, and geometry to create convincing characters in virtual environments. At Leslie, our art and design is situated within our entire university. And so you have an opportunity to learn these concepts and to bring them to life. This means that you'll be able to study a range of topics that can enhance your practice. And with our reimagined general education curriculum, you will acquire knowledge and skills that employers value, which will prepare you to succeed in an increasingly complex, diverse, and global world. Well, just when you thought it was safe to go back into the water, there's more. So this year, we are also implementing a couple of new technologies that will help your experience and your stay at Leslie to be effective, efficient, and wonderful. So you will see some things come out throughout this year. One of those is Student Planner. And the emphasis there is on student, and students be able to plan out their matriculation throughout Leslie. So we will be implementing Student Planner this year, and your advisors will be talking with you about Student Planner and how you will be able to plan out your 4-year matriculation through Leslie and graduate in the time frame that you've established for yourself. The other thing, the other systems we will be implementing this year is a system called Advise, which will be a platform that we will use to support and to help our students to have the most rewarding experience possible at Leslie. So we are excited to have you here. We're glad to be able to work with you, and we look forward to for you to have an exciting and educational experience that you both crave and desire. And with all of that, I will now like to introduce to you Sandra St. Fleur, our VP of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Justice.
Thank you, Jonathan. Provost Jefferson. Good morning, Leslie. Allow me to add my voice to those of my colleagues to congratulate the new incoming class and extend a very warm welcome to all upper classes returning to Lesley University. You're joining or returning to Lesley at a very special time. It's a time when we're all learning how to live full lives while adjusting to the curveballs that the COVID-19 pandemic keeps throwing at us. It's also a time when we're learning how to hold on to the lessons that we learned from the nationwide marches calling for equity and justice changes at both the cultural and structural levels. Both events represent the best of us, our collective resilience, our tenacity, and our unwavering belief that things can and will get better. These things also represent our fault lines, the spaces where our cultural and emotional tectonic plates converge to reveal where we are most vulnerable, where we have the most opportunity to evolve individually and collectively. Matriculating at Lesley is all about strengthening your resilience so that once you graduate, you're equipped to be a force for good wherever in the world you may find yourselves. Strengthening those resilience muscles requires determination to decide for yourselves the lives you aspire to lead. It requires a healthy amount of discipline to follow through on your aspirations and goals. And maybe more importantly, it requires a generous amount of vulnerability to understand yourself better as you let others get to know you. The Office of Equity, Diversity, Inclusion, and Justice, which I lead, exists to support Lesley University's mission of preparing its graduates for shaping a more just, humane, and sustainable world. While there are many ways that my team and I try to achieve this, the most powerful tool we have is our ability to make it okay for individuals and community alike to be vulnerable. Because we deeply believe that vulnerability is the wellspring of curiosity and courage. As Brene Brown, professor at the University of Houston's Graduate School of Social Work and an expert on vulnerability, stated in her now very famous TED Talk, vulnerability is the birthplace of creativity, innovation, and change. It's also the birthplace of joy, faith, and connection. She goes on to say, to create is to make something that has never existed before, and there's nothing more vulnerable than that. Within the Office of EDIJ, here are some of the ways we're creating spaces for individuals in the community to be vulnerable, creative, and courageous this academic year. We've designed our lecture series so that we bring in experts on topics that are historically polarizing. Doing so will give us the context for understanding how we got here as a country and really as a world. We will follow these lectures with discussion spaces where people can bring their beliefs, their values, their notions, and their ideas for unpacking in a non-judgmental and safe space so that we can better align around what we can do to move forward together. We are centering student voices in our work with the creation of the EDIJ Student Advisory Council, an evolution of the DEI Student Committee. The EDIJ Student Advisory Council, or ESAC for short, will consist of students representing a full range of experiences, challenges, and identities at Lesley University. These include students who commute, students who have children, student who has different ways of learning, veterans, students who are currently serving in the military, and students who present just differently in the world. ESAC will help us in the office to sharpen our focus when it comes to the breadth of those student experiences at Lesley, so that we, in our office and beyond, work with their needs and aspirations in mind. In the spirit of designing for the experience of belonging, we're also increasing our support of student affinity spaces and employee resource groups so that individuals with like-minded interests and or shared identities can find their tribes. In the EDIJ office, we believe that While each of us may be at different points on the EDIJ journey, every person at Lesley has the capacity to contribute to the overall EDIJ goals and objectives of the university. In that spirit, we've also developed an EDIJ roadmap based on the feedback that you've shared with us. This roadmap, which you'll learn more about as the weeks go on, gives everyone a way to contribute to EDIJ at the university. These are but a handful of initiatives we're undertaking. Yet when it's all said and done, our biggest accomplishment will remain the degree to which we make it possible for you to engage around EDIJ issues in a way that moves the university ever closer to its mission of preparing its graduates for shaping a more just, humane, and sustainable world. Since in EDIJ work, we cannot separate the person from the environment, we're attuned to the fact that we're all co-creating each other's realities, and we all play a part in how effectively we move the EDIJ dial at Lesley. In closing, I will say welcome once more. Settle into life at Lesley and into your matriculating norms. Once you do, reach out to us and answer when we reach out to you so that we can get to know you. You can get to know us. We can get to know each other and begin to talk about how we together can change the world. And so with that, I'll pass it to Bailey Haynes, our student body president.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Hello all, good morning, and welcome to Lesley University. I'm sure you've heard it before, and I'm sure you believe it since you're here on this call, but I'd like to emphasize the fact that Lesley is someplace special. I can take off my rose-colored glasses to acknowledge that navigating this already challenging college process is going to be exacerbated by the social and medical predicament that this country and world is in. The last thing I or any of us want to do is to diminish or make light of anyone's experiences here or elsewhere. Yet, I do believe in the importance of banding together in community. It warms my heart to be able to genuinely say that Lesley is a place where you are encouraged to shine and show the light that you bring into this world, and a place where you're supported in times when you feel as though that light within yourself may dim. My name is Bailey Haynes, and I am a senior secondary education and mathematics major from the small but mighty state of New Hampshire. Shout out to all my fellow Granite Staters that may be on this call. As this year's student body president, I have the immense joy of being able to speak to you today, and man, oh man, am I grateful. Here's the thing about me. School has always been my thing. I have been thinking about college and setting lofty goals about my future since I was literally in 4th grade. Trust me, I have the journals with aspirations written in quite poor handwriting to prove it. But the point is, I've always been a goal setter, and I've always had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to accomplish. Going through grade school, middle school, and high school, I've always thrown myself into several different pockets, different situations where I could get involved, meet new people, learn new extraordinary things, and grow personally, professionally, and as a leader. By the time senior year came around, I was stoked. Honestly, I think that word might even be an understatement for how I was feeling. But suddenly, as the day I moved into Lesley drew nearer and nearer, I found myself getting worried that I wouldn't be good enough to be involved at the collegiate level. If you're like me and you know what you want to do, be it here or in the long term, but are afraid that you won't stack up to your past self or your goals now that you're here, please listen to this word of advice and maybe even consider it a call to action. Get involved and do something. You will be good enough here and anywhere you go. Now to all the folks that maybe aren't sure what they want to do. And I say folks, plural, because I want you to know that you are not alone. You have such an amazing opportunity by being fluid and open-minded about your future. You certainly have incredible strengths, and Lesley is a place that exists to celebrate the strengths of every single person. In your time here, whether in person or virtually, I urge you to learn lots about the world, but also about yourself. When, not if, but when you find something that fascinates you about yourself, run with it. Hold on to it and just run. Get involved and nurture that passion. I have no doubt in my mind that each and every one of you will do spectacular things. That's why you're here. Thank you for letting me be a little cheesy with you on this Thursday morning. I hope you are all as excited to be here as I was at my convocation, and honestly still am at this very moment. You're here for a reason, and I cannot wait to see all that you do. I look forward to seeing you around on campus or online in a Zoom call. And it is now my sincere pleasure to introduce Dean Nathaniel Mays, our Dean of Student Life and Academic Development.
Good morning, and thank you, Bailey. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for being such a wonderful role model to our students, but not only our students, for us as members of the Leslie community. Thank you for being here. I'm delighted to lend my voice to welcome all of you to the Leslie community. I've been waiting for this moment for so long. We've been gone, and now here we are back on our campus. I'm delighted to be here to welcome you because it's fun being on campus, and it's fun being on campus knowing that you're here. I saw all the hard work that went through the admissions process, and I want to thank our admissions folks for all the work that they did to get you here. I want to thank the staff and student life who met you on campus as you were moving in, those of you who were moving in, public safety, plant, all of those people who welcomed you. I envy them having an opportunity to be here with you because I wasn't. I was at home behind a curtain, approving you to be on campus. And thank you for demonstrating so much patience. You're wonderful for doing so. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, patience, because we are in a pandemic, right? And as such, we need to take care of ourselves and each other. And one of the things that we've done this year to ensure that we continue to take care of ourselves and each other is that we put together a calendar of wellness opportunities for all of us, not just for students, but for employees as well. And so I want to encourage you that when you see that calendar go out, that you choose the things that you want to participate in that will help you to stay focused and take care of yourself, both mentally, physically, spiritually, and any other way that you think you need to take care of yourself. We're going to have a wonderful array of things for you to do. Some are physically demanding because they're creative, but others are just some things that you can do. Go for a walk with our faculty to Mount Auburn Cemetery or something like that. But it's a wellness opportunity that gives you an opportunity as a new member of our community to engage with others in something that they also think is very valuable. The other thing I want to talk about is taking care of yourselves and each other because we are in a pandemic. And we want to remind you that as you are here engaging in your academic pursuits, that socially we want you to remember our protocols that we've invited you to follow. Our president mentioned them very early up in her conversation with you, but I want to remind you that as you're moving about indoors, wear the mask out of respect for yourself and your own health and safety, but also for those of others, that safety and health of others. Very important to do. Distancing, you might be comfortable hugging and all that, but maybe everybody isn't right now. And out of respect for people who might want the distance, engage in respecting people's space. Very important to do. You're going to receive from me probably today a reminder about all the detailed things related to the protocols. And I ask that you take time to look at them, read them, and really remember that they're there to keep us as a community healthy and safe. We're genuinely excited that you're here, and we want you to stay here, which means that we all have to be responsible to do what we have to do to keep this community safe. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Here's my gift to you for being so patient with me over the weekend. I'm done. Look at that. So I'm going to stop right here because I want to get an opportunity, since I wasn't here over the weekend, to get a chance to mingle with some of you who are in our first and second year classes who are going to join us under the tent. Not everybody could join us, but I'll get to connect with you others later. But for now, I want to invite all of you who are here to join us up under the tent outside so that you can see in person the guy who was behind the curtain over the weekend, okay? Thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to seeing you around campus. Have a great year and a great semester to start. Thank you and have a great day.